Hey everybody, JJ here. Welcome back for another special edition of Zoom Networking on Wednesday. It's the new middle of the week thing we got going on because we got so many guest speakers. Gosh, we've got so much value, so many great people that want to come and share that this is the place to be. If you're in real estate, this is the place to be. Anyhow, today's guest speaker, this guy is amazing. I love this guy. Very, very dear friend of mine. This gentleman has 43 years of experience as an entrepreneur, been in the real estate industry for over 30 years. He's been a licensed realtor. 1997 was one of the top 1% of realtors in the whole country. And he's been there, off and on or for quite a while since 1997. He's done over 350 deals. Just got all kind of crazy accolades. He's been a personal fitness trainer to the stars in Beverly Hills, coach of realtors, author, dad, beach bum, all kind of crazy stuff. But none other than my good friend, Chasen. Chasen, how are you today, my friend?
Oh my God, JJ, if it was any better, I wouldn't know what to do. People ask me, like you just did, how you doing? And like, how's your day going? I always say, best day ever. But every day to me is the best day ever.
There you go, my friend. So, yeah, just to let you know, I knew you were going to have a colorful shirt today because you usually do. And I was in San Francisco this weekend, so I had to hit Haight-Ashbury to find a shirt that I could wear that I could kind of compliment with you a little bit. Maybe get away from the Harley Davidson thing a little bit. But, yeah, I wanted to get a little bit of color because you're a colorful guy. I know you're going to bring great value and content today. Really, really briefly, before I cut out, what are you going to be telling everybody about today?
The topic for today is the 7 stupidest things real estate investors do to kill their business.
Cool. So with no further ado, my friend, I'll let you get into it. Maybe a little bit of background on yourself, and jump in your topic. With that, take it away.
JJ and everybody here, I am so pleased to share some of the information I've gained over the years. And like I said, today's topic is the 7 stupidest things real estate investors do to kill their business. So let me just jump right in here. And everybody says in the beginning, you have to get them to know, like, and trust you. So I'm going to go there first. As you mentioned briefly, because I want to be as brief as possible on this, I've been in business for over 40 years. And I started my real estate business back in 1991, originally as a realtor. I went to a lot of very smart people, and I was a good listener, and I got great training with some amazing mentors and coaches. And within 6-7 years, I put myself in the top 1% of agents in the country. So real estate has been very, very good to me. Years after that, I wanted to expand, so I got into real estate investing. I think we bought our first flip in 2005. Haven't looked back since. I've had a background in coaching. I used to own some health clubs in LA. I segued after I sold out of that after a few years. I started a celebrity fitness training business in the early days of personal fitness training. I had numerous celebrities, including people you might know like Josh Brolin, like Nick Cage, like Wolfgang Puck. And this was a long time ago. Like Josh Brolin was a teenager at the time. I worked out with his dad also. So I love helping people. I have this degree in psychology, and my original intention was to be a therapist. I just love helping people live the most extraordinary life possible. I've been manifesting that for myself for a long, long time. So that's kind of my background. My most important thing is I am a dad to 2 great kids. My son and daughter both live up near you, JJ. Eli is in North Hollywood, and Brianna is in Pasadena. They're both pursuing careers in their degrees, which is 3D animation. So that's why they moved to Hollywood. So, but that's enough about me, because it doesn't matter. I just want to give you an idea of who I am, what I do, and to let you know I've gained a few skills over the years that I want to share with you, so you won't make the same mistakes that I made, which will save you a lot of time, energy, and money. So let's go down to the next screen. and we'll just pop on over here. Basically, here's what the topics we're going to cover: the 7 stupidest things people could do to shoot themselves in the foot and kill the business. We're going to talk about fear, because the fear stops more people in all aspects of life, and especially in any kind of entrepreneurial efforts that you do. Like in the beginning, it's like you're not secure. Your ego is kind of being shy. We talked in the early part of this, JJ, about a lot of people going on to groups, things not really participating, because in the beginning, we're all at one time kind of our little boy or little girl self. And if we don't feel like we're adequate or worth it, we just don't participate like we don't live out loud like we should all be doing. So we'll talk a little bit about the fear of getting into real estate. Now, the second stupidest thing is not having the right knowledge. Real estate investing is a very, very sophisticated and complicated business. And it's not that you can't jump right in, but to be smart, you have to get in, jump in groups, be on groups like this. And JJ, thank you again for not only the invitation, but for producing this program to help people, whether you're a brand newbie or thinking about getting in or many years of real estate. The content that you provide here, JJ, is just awesome. And I'm glad to be a part of it. The next part is the stupidest things people do is not knowing their exit strategies before they buy a house. You have to know what you're going to do with it. So number 4 stupidest thing is underestimating your rehab costs. How many real estate investors have bought a property, thought it was going to cost this much, and all of a sudden it costs this much, and they end up losing money on the property. I'm not in any way being pessimistic. I'm being optimistic, because just one of the stupid things a lot of realtors do. We've all done it. We've been a little bit too optimistic. Number 5 stupidest thing is not having good comparable value analysis, CMAs, we have to call it, the appraisals. You think the property is worth one thing and it turns out to be worth less or more, and you can script and hold you up because of that. The 6th stupidest thing is you're having a written, let me repeat that again, a written marketing and business plan. If I did a survey, and I've kind of done this informally, people, investors that have been very successful, the majority of them have a written marketing and business plan. And I emphasize marketing as part of the business plan because that is your lead generation aspect of your business. You haven't got any leads, you're not going to be in business. So that's the 6th stupid thing people do to fail in real estate. The last thing, of course, is hiring expert advisors. If I had to do it all over again, I had been in real estate for over 10 years and had done probably 100 plus transactions just in the real estate game as a salesperson before I got into real estate investing. But I've always been, as Steve Jobs said, always be curious. My attitude is, I've already told my kids when they're growing up, and Eli, if you're still there, you've heard this before, if you're going to play a game of tennis, play with somebody that's always a little bit better, a little bit smarter than you are. Because you play with somebody that's not as good as you are, you're not learning, you're not growing, you're not becoming better. And this not only applies, of course, to real estate investing, but also just life in general. So let's first start off with the next thing and just covering the first thing, and that is fear. I've met so many people, whether it be through Fortune Builders, which is a great company, or any other education group, that when you're new, you have this childlike fear of not being good enough. Holds back more people. Fear holds back more people in every aspect of their life than anything else. Now, I am a readaholic. I'm a bookaholic. I don't own television, haven't for years and years. And I'm a book reader. I used to read somewhere between 30 to 50 books a year. I do that in the evening when I'm finished with my workday. And I don't plug into a TV for all the people that do plug into TV. That's okay. I'm just saying, if you want to become, as Malcolm Gladwell said in the Outliers book, to be in the top 1% percentage of the top 1%, you have to be an outlier. It's called 10,000 hours. You have to have 10,000 hours of time investigating and studying and researching your niche, which is, of course, real estate investing, before you're in that top 1%. And the top, you can imagine what the top 1% of real estate investors earn in the United States. But that kind of settled in for a second. So, still storing readers or leaders. So I'm a readaholic. So here I'm going to be giving several different books. You guys can take screenshots or refer back to the recording. I say grab your camera, take screenshots here. I'm going to give you some of my top books that I've read. These are all that I have read or in the process of reading. Most of them I've already read. Number one at the bottom here is what to say when you talk to yourself. When we're talking about fear, all of us, and this is my background in psychology, which is my degree in school, all of us are still, in many ways, that little boy or that little girl that we were when we were 5 or 6 or 7 years old. And they said, hey, I'm getting into real estate. And all of a sudden, that old child, that inner child of us come back, and we have these fears. And that's what we have to get over. So I read this book first, 25 years ago. It's still in my library. I've reread it a couple of times over the years. And so it's what your inner voice is saying that will determine how successful you're going to be. I can meet somebody that's in real estate, let's say somebody new in real estate, and have a conversation with them like 1, 2, 5 minutes. And I have a pretty darn good idea of how successful they're going to be by what they say, the confidence, the poise they have, the charisma, the knowledge that they have. So once again, book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself is an amazing top read to do. Now, this is a new one I just learned about. I was listening to Grant Cardone the other day, and I had an interview with Tim Grover. If you don't know the name Tim Grover, he is one of the top athletic coaches that has coached and strength coaches for Kobe Bryant, for Michael Jordan. He's coached a lot of basketball players, but other top athletes also. So it's something I'm in the process of reading right now. And I like this thing, 2 words there in this title, relentless. To be really successful in real estate, you have to be relentless. And I know, like myself, I had one business as I was running, which was my fitness business. I was actually in San Jose at that time. And I was working probably 30 or so hours a week when I was ready for the next big thing and ready to pivot, as we all have done, especially during COVID. And so I had to be relentless, and I had to be unstoppable in my mentality and that inner voice that I have. So I can't recommend enough of that book. It's really amazing. I haven't finished it yet, but it's amazing right now. And the last one I'm going to talk about, what's another top book to read, is Simon Sinek's Start With Why. Why I start with this book is because for you, especially so many people start with they've got a 9 to 5, they've got a job, they're working 30, 40, 50 hours a week. And I was talking, when Brianna, when you first came on here and introduced yourself, and you wanted to see what your pivot was going to be. Congratulations, first of all. The life of an entrepreneur is amazing. If you know what your why is your fuel, it's your motivation. It's why you get up early in the morning. Sometimes, many days, I'm up between 4:30 to 5:30, and I'm starting my work because it's in the wee hours in the morning that's when everybody else is sleeping, the whole world is quiet, and I have this quiet time to think, to meditate, to do my morning rituals, my affirmations, things like that. So Start With Why by Simon Sinek on your list of things to do. Let me talk a little bit and go into the psychology of fear for a second. And one of the areas that I studied when I was getting my degree was the neurophysiology of the brain. We are our brain. In many, many ways, we are what we think, like I explained in that last book. So this is what your brain looks like on the inside. It's this network, this amazing, gazillion miles long of networks of the neurons, the synapses, and the axons that make up your brain. And there's something called neuroplasticity. When you're learning something new aspects of this wiring grow in your brain. All of your thoughts, all your experiences, physiologically, neurophysiologically, are exactly what that picture graphic is. And that translates from your brain throughout your whole body, which controls also your hormonal system too. You want to do everything you can, like I said with the book Start With Why and your inner voice, that book, Shad's book, is you want to rewire your brain. And another book I'll get to later, I think, is, if you don't know the name, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a neurophysiologist. He has 3 or 4 best-selling books, New York Times best-selling books out there right now. And his whole research, he was a chiropractor, I won't go into this whole long story. He's a brilliant, brilliant person. But he talks about the whole neurophysiology. For you to be successful in real estate investing, you have to rewire your brain, that neuroplasticity, to create this new network. And that's all about learning. That's why I'm such an avid learner. I've always been a learner. So that's what that looks like. And to overcome your fear, you have to, through experience and through that inner voice and even your outer voice, tell yourself that you are going, my dear wife, Paul, I'm not sure if Paul's on here or not, but when she was starting off in the mortgage business, she got a little Post-it note and put it on the mirror of her bathroom. And this is back in, when was this? The late 80s, early 90s. And when she got the real estate and mortgage lending business, we were a great team. And she had this note on her bathroom that said, I earned $100,000 or more this year. And she saw that every day, every night, and she created this new wiring, this new neuroplasticity. So one of the biggest fears that the biggest ways to kill your business is not having that wiring. You need to, to create the affirmations to make all that happen. So enough of brain work. Let's go into don't you love this before and after? This is the power of real estate investing. Look at that top picture, this ugly old thing, and then look at the bottom picture of where an investor changed it to look like this. This is why I love real estate investing, just from a heart perspective. I'm a heart kind of guy. To have somebody go from that upper picture, old beat up, to this new dynamic contemporary house that people drive by going, oh my God, that's the coolest house in the street. That's what we do with real estate investing. So the second stupidest thing that people do to fail in real estate is they don't get enough knowledge. Like I said a few minutes ago, real estate investing is a very complicated and dynamic business. You can't, a lot of people think they see these TV shows, Flip This House or whatever. I don't have a TV yet. I know what the current ones are. So they think, Hollywood makes it look so easy to buy a house and do some construction and flip it and make a $500,000. It's the old story of get rich quick. If you're a get rich quick kind of person, you're in the wrong place. It's a great way to get rich slow. Ask the people that have been successful in real estate investing, JJ and all his friends and all the top dogs there, they've done it slowly. You don't do it in 6 months to a year. This is not cryptocurrency where you're making a bunch of money overnight. This is a get rich slow business. But the thing is, when you get rich slow, there's a much higher probability of staying rich versus having it blown, because it's not yesterday's thing. So here's some more books for you to take a snapshot of on your camera. Gary Eldridge's Beginning Real Estate Investing. Gary Keller. Gary is from, I've actually met Gary and talked to Gary before. He's one of the two partners of Keller Williams Real Estate. His old partner, Dave Williams. Gary runs the show now, has for many, many years. Brilliant guy. He took Keller Williams from one shop in Texas to one of the largest real estate firms in the country. This is a great book. It tells you from A to Z, as Gary's book also is. Here we have two Garys, about the basics. So if you're newer to the real estate business, grab one or both of these books and read them from, bring your highlighter and do all that stuff. The last book you see on the right-hand side, I've got my book coming out in April, May. It's called The Millionaire Marketing Whisperer, Stealth Strategies for Real Estate Investors. So I'm really excited to get that out to the world, because in real estate investing, if you're not marketing smart, within budget, great ROI, return on investment, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. That's another great way to kill your business. So let's see what's up next here. And as you see in the lower right-hand corner, you just start with why again. Once again, that's such a profound book. I put it in here 2 or 3 times. When you're beginning, you need to hook up with other experienced real estate investors. Now, let me put this little asterisk bottom of the page in there. As with every part of life, it's Pareto's 80-20 rule. 80% of real estate investors are good people. They work the business with integrity. There are some real estate investors, like pretty much every aspect of life, that, shall we just say, don't run their business with integrity. And if they screw you over, they don't care. So as Ronald Reagan said, trust, but verify. So when I want you to go out there and join meetup groups and the REI clubs, be online, join the different Facebook and groups that are out there, because in the beginning, the whole focus of your business is to learn, because the more you learn, the less likely you're going to lose money, the less likely you're going to have any litigation, and the more likely that you can actually, this is a business that can make you a millionaire, a multimillionaire. I know so many people that have done it right, and most of it is because they loved information. They dove into it. Like I said, Malcolm Gladwell, the 10,000 hours formula. So buy the books, do the podcast, go to the meetings, learn, be, as that one guy said, be unstoppable, be relentless in your pursuit of being an amazing real estate investor, and do it, please do it with integrity and honesty, because we don't need the people. That's one thing I love about JJ. JJ and I have been involved in Mastermind together we're in it together about a year. I love JJ because he is a man of integrity. His word is his bond, and I follow that same thing. That's where we get along so well. So if you're going to be in the real estate business, if you're not with integrity, please leave. If you are with integrity, welcome. You can make a fortune in this business. So like I said, get involved in meetup groups, REI clubs, just Google the keywords REI groups plus your community. I'm here in the beach of San Diego. So there's a couple good clubs here. Of course, Fortune Builders corporate headquarters is about 10 minutes north of me up in La Jolla. So connect with those people. It's all about learning in the beginning. So let's go to the next one. And the third stupidest thing is not knowing your exit strategies. When you find a house through a realtor, through bandit signs, or through door knocking, or whatever marketing lead generation that you do, you're going, oh, this looks like it could be a great deal. When you see the house, you talk to the sellers, you run the numbers, but you always have to answer, what is going to be my exit strategy? The real estate investors that don't answer that question up front get themselves in trouble. They can lose the money, they can get in litigation. So always know your exit strategy before you buy the house. I don't care how good looking a house might be, know your exit strategy. At the bottom here, there's a list of some of the many exit strategies, and then there's buy and rent, there's buy and Airbnb. JJ, I know you just came back from an Airbnb program up in San Francisco. That's something that you can make some really good money with. Buy and lease option. I've done numerous lease option programs, some very good money there. Do a wholesale with the assignment of contract. You can do rehab, the basic flip program. BRRRR, I love that, which is the people who don't know the BRRRR formula: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. Then there's a reverse mortgage, is another exit strategy that a lot of people don't talk about. But for the right person, it can be a great exit strategy for you, especially for the older crowd. There is, donate to charity. A lot of people haven't thought about this. From a tax perspective, you've made a fair amount of money and you need a good tax write-off. Let's say you find it, if you're in a lower income area and you've got a house that's maybe worth 100, 125,000, Detroit, whatever the place may be, and you contribute that to charity, you have amazing tax credits there, tax write-off. So a lot of people don't think of contributing a house to charity as a exit strategy, but it can be, because once again, it's all about net money that you're making. Number 10, opportunity funds and opportunity zones. A lot of people have never heard of this, don't know what it is at all. It's a great exit strategy. It's basic ways to save a lot of money in taxes. The Fed some years ago put this program together for investors that want to invest in low income areas. And when you do that, there's you can go to sites and just Google the words opportunity funds or opportunity zones. They'll give you all kinds of information online for it. It's a little bit more complicated. You have to work with a very sophisticated CPA, possibly attorney, to do it right. You don't want to get in any trouble, but it can be a great exit strategy. Installment sales, if you know about installment sales, another way for some advantageous tax advantages too. Deferred trust sale, another way to take advantage of the tax laws is to work with deferred trust. It's like the Opportunity Fund program on steroids. And the last thing, and there's a little bit of I want to talk. First of all, I am not an attorney and I am not a CPA. Talk to these people first and make sure they're absolutely specialists in these areas. But it's another exit strategy is the monetized installment sale. So these are all the exit strategies you have to know before you buy the house, because it's stupid not to know your exit strategy before you buy the house. And here are some things, some questions that you want to consider when you're thinking about looking at a house. Like, yeah, what am I going to do with not only my exit strategies, but think sub-aspects of the exit strategies. You want to look at both short and long-term goals. If you need cash flow, you might want to do wholesaling. If you can wait 6 months to a year or so, you might do flips. Long-term goals: buy properties, buy 1 or 2 properties a year. Start creating your portfolio. Pay attention to your experience level. If you do not know, go to a higher authority. Hire a great coach that's been in the business for many, many years. Go to sophisticated real estate attorneys. You don't need to go to like your friend who's an attorney in divorce, or a CPA that doesn't know much about the sophisticated aspects of real estate investing. Go to those specialists that know their business backwards and forwards. You want to know about time to close. And depending on what your exit strategy is, am I going to be paying cash for this and closing in 7 days, or am I going to close in like 2 months to it? So the purchase price, the purchase value, property conditions, market conditions. Right now for the last year, and since 2012, since the what I call the depressing era ended in around 2012 across the United States, we've been seeing, as a realtor and investor, depending on the area you've been into, but especially the last year and a half, low inventory, lots and lots of multiple offers, homes selling 5, 10, 20% above market value. I heard of one a while back. He was a friend of mine I used to work with Remax, and she heard about a house. This is in Silicon Valley in San Jose. That came on the market at this was several years ago. It was like, I think it was $1 million. They had 36 offers on it, and it sold for cash for $2 million. There's things on there like that going on right now in numerous markets across the country because inventory is so low. So know your market conditions, because this is going to change, not only because of what's happening in Ukraine right now, and the stock market being shaky, the interest rates going up. Pay attention, because if you're going into a flip, it might take you a year or so to do, or let alone new construction. To buy a lot, it might take 2 years to finally have the end product in place. The market could be radically different from what it is now. Your financing options and your profit potentialities. I love putting things in writing, which I'm going to talk about a little bit. And of course, always consider your taxes as a part of your exit strategy, because taxes are a huge aspect of real estate investing. Have a really good CPA that's very sophisticated with real estate investing. The fourth stupid thing we're going to talk about is underestimating rehab costs. Here's the next book for you by Bigger Pockets, well-known guys, several books here. The book on estimating rehab costs. So many investors I've talked to over the years, and I won't go into a long story, but I'll make a 30-second story. I met some ladies at an open house. They were brand new to investing. They bought the house. They came in, and women have a tendency, and this is both a compliment and maybe not, they have designer genes. My dear ex-wife, Paula, has designer genes. Paula's very smart because she's also very analytical. She was always considering ROI. When you come in, these two ladies came in and put too much money into the house to where they couldn't get their money back out. And some months after they'd been sitting in the market, in a very average market some years ago, it was on the market for like 3 or 4 months, they ended up selling it for a lot less than they expected, because the house was beautiful, it was stunning, but they put so much extra bells and whistles into it, they couldn't get the money out of it. So be careful about underestimating your rehab costs. So you need to have, as a smart investor, if you're doing rehabs, and even if you're not, if you just, let's say you're wholesaling or Airbnb, if there's been any kind of repair involved, You have to know your repair estimates accurately. Pivotal word there is accurately. You can lose a ton of money if you're not accurate with your estimated cost. And then behind your estimated cost, on the bottom there, once again, screen capture that one. These are some sources that you can go to. As I recall, all of those are free. If you don't have it, you go online to get some free rehab estimators. Make sure that there's a difference between the cost of lumber in Beverly Hills and the cost of lumber in Ames, Iowa, or small town USA. There's also the aspect of the labor cost in the different markets. So when you're considering your estimated cost, that's the big picture. The interior, the landscaping, the fencing. A lot of people forget about septic systems in certain more rural parts of the country. And the interior, especially the big expensive items like roofing, HVAC, your air conditioning and or furnace systems, all your electrical plumbing, you have to be really accurate on all your estimating there because it will make or break your investing when you're doing any kind of remodeling and rehabbing. So, and also, a lot of people will, I have this new contractor I'm working with, Carl the contractor. He's a friend of my friend of my friend. And Carl's been contracting for 10, 15 years. Doesn't mean that Carl is the most ethical of people. Once again, Reagan, trust but verify. Look into the people that you bring into your team, your realtors, your contractors, every sub that's going to be working with the plumbers. Do a little bit of vetting on them to make sure that they are legit. They didn't just come out of jail. And a lot of people come out of jail and they're still good people. They just made a mistake sometime earlier. But you want to make sure that once again, they lead with integrity. They're honest, they're upfront, they have experience. Because a contractor can look at a property with you, and if you don't know because you're newer, and just say, "Oh, let me think." Just off the top of my head, I'd say this is about $75,000. No problem. You can buy it for this, you can sell it for that. After all the work, it's only going to be $75,000, Chase. And then you do all the work, and all of a sudden things start adding up more and more and more. You're going over budget, and that $75,000 that the contractor penciled in for you turns out to be $125,000, and you've actually lost money on the deal. So once again, Pareto's 80-80-20 rule. Find contractors, everybody that you work with on your team. Look for a foundation of integrity and honesty to check their background deeply before working with them, because people can tell you one thing and not come through. So that is the stupid thing. Number 4 is underestimating the rehab costs. What's the stupidest thing for number 5? Comparable sales analysis. Once again, I've had a real estate license since 1991. Saved me a ton of money, made me a ton of money as part of my later on getting involved in the investing business. Pareto's rule of 80-20 also applies to realtors, especially in very busy times when, because of low inventory, the market, you put on the MLS, it's sold with 5 offers, 10 offers, 50 offers. In just like 3 or 4 days, cash, tens of thousands, or sometimes hundreds of thousands. My brother John, I'm not sure if you're on the call. John runs a business in San Jose as a realtor, and we were talking the other day, and he just sold a townhome in San Jose, an okay part of San Jose. That I think he listed it for about 1.2, sold for about 1.4, 1.45. Had several offers on it. When things are selling $250,000 over the asking price, you want to make sure that your comparable sales are very, very accurate. So when doing your comparison sales, if you don't know what you're doing because you haven't been in business that long, that's something you really need to focus in. You can go to online courses for appraisers. Here's a scary insider information for you. A lot of real estate agents have never taken an appraisal course. Never. And yet they do CMAs people all the time. And they're going, maybe their broker says, "Oh, here's how it works, blah, blah, blah." They spent 5-10 minutes on it. It's such an important aspect because if you look at a property that's either lower than what you think it is or higher than you think what it is, you can lose money either way. If it's, let's say your house and your agent says, "Oh, Chasen, this house is worth $350," which is about the average price for a house in America these days. And it turns out they didn't do a great job on estimating their comps, and the house was really worth, let's say, 375, 400. They underestimated. And some, unfortunately, there are some, and I'm not saying all, but a few real estate agents are not as ethical as they could be. They don't live in integrity, and they underestimate the comps because they know you're not interviewing, and you put it on for a lower price. It sells, say, cash by an investor in one day, and maybe the agent has the buyer also. And all of a sudden you find out that the house was worth 4.25. So it can go either way. If the comps show and you've overestimated, you've got a house that's worth 400,000, and the agent says, "Oh," especially when agents are doing multiple interviews. If you're looking for good agents as a new investor, you've done a great job on the rehab, and the agents, what's called bid listings, highly unethical, happens all the time. I hate it, but it's part of the real estate game for the people that are not living in integrity, that they will tell the seller what they want to hear. And in this case, you're the seller. You've just bought the house, you've rehabbed the house. It's 6 months to a year later. It's beautiful. And to get your business, they say, "Oh no, I think, oh, look at these comps that I've manipulated, and it's worth 4.25, 450. Let's put it on the market for 450." And even though we're in a very, very active market, there are houses out there that are overpriced and not selling in this very active market. And once we get back to a regular market, where it takes 3 to 6 months to sell a house, sometimes 6 months to a year to sell a house with great marketing. And if you don't put the property on at the right price because of misinformation from whomever, and you have all these carrying costs, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because it's the fifth stupid thing for real estate investors to kill your business, is not having accurate sales analysis to know how to price the property properly. So that's why it's so important. Like I said, if you have a license yourself, and if you don't, when I go on listing appointments, agents come in, they do the CMA and say, "He had a house with blank." And what I do, which really shocks people, because very, very few agents do this, I say, "Mr. and Mrs. Seller." And this is as a real estate agent. And agents are always held to a much higher fiduciary responsibility because they've got a license to protect. Investors that don't have licenses, real estate licenses, don't have that. So that's where you have to be very careful with who you're dealing with. So let's say you're interviewing some agents, and you say, "Well, this agent says I can get, say it's worth 400. This one agent says, 'Oh, Chasen, I can get 440, 450 for it.'" And they show you some manipulated CMA comps. You go, "Okay, you can get that. I'm just screwing up people. I'm going with you." And then it sits in the market, and then next week they're asking you for a price reduction. And the next week they're asking for a price reduction. And all of a sudden it sits in the market for 3 months, 6 months, or longer, and you've got all these carrying costs. Oh my God. The fifth stupid thing that you can do to shoot yourself in the foot and kill your business is not having great comparable sales. When I go on listings, I tell them all about the background, the marketing I'm going to be doing for people. And most importantly, I say, I'm not going to tell you what your house is worth. I'm going to give you a low and a high, and I show them my accurate comps. I say, I'm going to bring in an appraisal at my cost, and they will, because they're licensed and hopefully 10, 20 years in the business. And it's not some agent manipulating, telling you what you want to hear. Bring in the appraiser, and they will give you, because the appraisal, you get a 10-page appraisal thing. Realtors, it's the shortened version. Once again, most agents are not well trained in comparable sales. So a huge important aspect. So let's start towards wrapping up here. The sixth stupidest thing to kill your business is not having a written marketing and business plan. Like I mentioned before we started the program, of all of the investors that I've talked to over the years, and that's been a lot, hundreds, I asked them, especially maybe the successful ones, and also the ones that have been in the business for a few years, that may be doing a deal here and there. I said, do you happen to have a written business plan that emphasizes marketing? And the successful ones, 85, 90%, always have in writing their business plan. And guess what they do? They do a new business plan every year. They do a new marketing plan every year. Because especially in these days of social media, when there's some new technology coming out, when Facebook first came out with Facebook ads and all the changes they've had over the last 10 or whatever years that they've been doing Facebook ads, they've changed the algorithms and how Facebook works. So, there's so many new technologies coming along. You have to be on top of things. So that's why it's a good idea as a business. This is not a hobby. This is a business to do a new marketing and business plan every year, so you can keep up with the times to be top of mind and top of game. So when the only corporate job I ever had was I worked for the William Morris Agency. If you don't know that, it was the largest talent agency in the world. We were the agents in writing all the contracts for writers and directors and producers and screenwriters for Hollywood. We were the largest talent agency in the country. And I remember they drilled it into me. You had to go through this whole training program, et cetera, that I went through, that all the deal memos that went through, the whole corporation, at the bottom, it always said, put it in writing. Put it in writing. I must have seen that dozens of times every day for the while that I worked there. Put it in writing. So that's why your marketing and business plan has to be in writing, because you think, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's in one ear and out the other. When you have something in writing, I started my first business take you back, 78, 79. This is before Al Gore had invented the internet. I was living in Los Angeles. I had to go to the UCLA library for 6-9 months, putting together like a 15, 20-page business plan before I started my business, because it's my GPS. It was my map to tell me every day where I'm going that particular day. So that's how important having a written marketing plan and business plan is. And as part of that business plan is the CRM. When I talk to real estate investors, one of the first questions I always ask them is, what CRM do you use? If I get that deer in the headlights going, what's a CRM? If you're asking yourself that right now, a lot of people don't know what a CRM is. A lot of business people do know what a CRM is. Customer Relations Management. It's a software tool. It's a business tool that basically runs every aspect of your business, from your marketing, your email campaigns, all your conversations, your follow-up calendar, every aspect of your business. And you have different, if you start getting big enough to have multiple staff people, you should have one person that's like a CRM specialist, because they basically telling everybody what to do and everybody can tap into that. Now, pricing for this, there are free CRMs online, and but on average, I use Kajabi. It's a multi-generational platform. Kajabi's been around 10 plus years. I pay $199 a month, and as part of that platform for my investing business and all my marketing, my coaching, and everything else, there's a CRM as part of that. It's a very sophisticated. There are numerous CRMs that are dedicated for real estate investors. You can go to RealFlow. You can go to KV Core. I think it's called Keep, which used to be old Infusionsoft. And usually, like I said, they're average $99 to $200 or $300 a month. It is the best tool that you can buy for your business, and it's a tax write-off. It's a good thing, because it organizes every aspect of your business. So, and the last part, the seven stupidest thing people do to kill their business is not go to people, especially when you're brand new or somewhat new to the real estate investing business. You're naive. You're like a kid that's 5 years old going to kindergarten, and you need to have a PhD to do really well with real estate investing. I look at it this way. Here's an opportunity that can make you a millionaire. It can make you a multimillionaire. It can create a business and a lifestyle for yourself that's multi-generational, creating a dynasty, a legacy for yourself and generations behind you, if you do it right. You do it right, and don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't do stupid things by not getting the right coaching and experience. Like the one guy book I talked about, Unstoppable, and whatever the other word he used in his book title, that relentless, that's what it is. He's the best of the best of the best in coaching high level athletes, like I said, the Kobe Bryants, love you, Kobe, the Michael Jordans, etc. Every great athlete, every great business person, every successful person has one or more coaches. When I first got in the business, the greatest thing I did was go to great coaching. And that's one reason I had some darn good success. So that's the seventh thing that you can do to shoot your foot. You're new, you're naive, you don't know, you need to change that neuroplasticity in your brain to learn everything you can. Like I said, Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours. You need to put in those 10,000. And it might seem like a lot in the beginning, but unless you put in those hours in and know what you're talking about, you can lose a ton of money. It's very easy to lose money in real estate investing. You can involve with a very stressful and costly litigation with real estate investing. So I can't emphasize enough about hiring a good coach and going to higher authorities. Like I said, playing tennis, always play tennis with somebody that's better than you. Go to the person, as Tony Robbins said, don't reinvent the wheel. I just came off of a Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi 3-day mastermind retreat this last weekend. Oh my God, the guys I've been following Tony and Dean for years. And Tony said, don't reinvent the wheel. Find somebody that already has the wheel, that knows everything about the wheel, and learn from them, because there's a return on investment, there's ROT, return on time. Most people fail in real estate because there's so much to learn. They don't spend the time to learn it, and they fail. So I can't emphasize enough about spending the time, investing in higher authorities that can take you there. And as JJ knows, I have a real estate VIP coaching business, and he was nice enough to allow me to do a quick plug for my business. There are 3 aspects I want you to watch out for if you do decide to work with any coach, whether it's me or whoever, that there are too many coaches out there that really have no idea what they're doing. They don't have the experience. They're like the realtor that just got their license last week, and they're running comps for you. The things to look out for is years of experience, the number of transactions, the integrity that they work under, the value they bring to you. I remember one person said one time, if I give you a machine it costs you $1 to go in the machine, and every time the dollar goes in, it spits out 2. How much time would you spend in front of that machine? That's what a coach does for you. So my main difference between my business and everything else, I call the TAG program, T-A-G. I don't know of any other coaches that do this. I travel to your home and spend 3 solid days with you, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, giving you everything I can. You're going to be drinking from the fire hose for 3 full days. So you get so many of these 10,000 hours at the beginning that you have the confidence to start making offers right away. A is, once again, it's TAG. A is the accessibility. My clients have me 24/7, 365 through text and email. Very, very few coaches do that because they're too busy. They take on 20, 30, 40 clients as many as they can. I take on 7 clients a year. That's it. Because I want to make sure I have time to get back to my clients ASAP. G is the guarantee. If you know of any other coaches that have any kind of guarantee, they don't. Mine is a 2x guarantee. If you don't make an income over the 2 years that we're together, twice the investment, you get all your money back. So that's a little bit of a quick plug. Thank you, JJ, for allowing me to get in there. I'm going to wrap up because I know we're getting short on time. Here are some more books. Once again, grab your camera, do a screen capture of these. I've already mentioned a couple of these in the beginning. On the top line, the Entrepreneur Mind. I said I've been very fortunate to choose the life of an entrepreneur. I've been fortunate to look in the mirror each morning as I wake up, and I look at the CEO boss, and I said, boss, what are we going to do today? How are we going to make a difference? The life of an entrepreneur is can be an amazing life when you don't have to answer anybody but yourself. So the E-Myth, The Morning Miracle is an amazing book about getting up early in the morning to do it. So once again, taking a screen capture of that one. I'm going to switch to the next one real quick here. Investing in real estate with no money down. Everybody thinks, oh my God, it can be done. But you have to know what you're talking about. Oh, I talked about the rehab book. Here's about inside funding for your real estate deals. Talked about Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Next Door. Email marketing is so important beyond social media. Great book called Email Marketing for Business. Traffic Secrets, Russell Brunson, brilliant young marketer, been around 10, 15 years, runs ClickBanks. Commercial real estate investing, if you get into big time, you get away from residential, you go for multifamily. A home inspection book. You have to know the infrastructure. A house is a very complicated system. And unless you've been through hundreds of real estate inspections like I have, that if you don't catch something, if your inspector doesn't catch something, then you can totally screw up your deal. And the last one, as we wrap this up, JJ, is some more great books. Once again, do a screen capture. Here, the top middle, The People Code. I was introduced to Taylor Hartman, 25 years ago. In the investing business, any business, you have to know why people think the way they do. It was originally called the color code. It's now called the People Code. It's about personality styles. When I go meet with a seller, and they open the front door, and I'm going to see the house and talk to them about buying the house, I have 30 seconds to determine what color, and there are 4 colors: the color of the American flag, red, white, and blue, and yellow. I won't get into it now. Buy the book and read it. Determines their core personality style. You have to, a great salesperson is a bit of a chameleon. You have to, if they're what's called a red, very bold and dominant and in your face, and they think that they know it all, and they're loud and all that good stuff, that's a red. And if you're shy, rather demure, quiet, slow talking personality, you're not going to get the deal, because you have to make them your best friends. You have to talk to them in the language that their personality is. So that's another book that I highly recommend. Branding, top right. You're in a business, you have to create your brand with colors. My colors are blue and gold. I am very fortunate. I manifested this great life. I live at the beach. I always wear beach shirts. It takes me a little over a minute to have my feet in the sand here. So that's why I always have a beach background. It's part of my branding. Think and Grow Rich, of course, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, etc. Of course, my book coming out, I'll end with this, that I like to pay it forward. So when my book comes out, April, May, anybody that's here, if you send me an email to my name, Chasen at chasenchess.com, and put in there, free book, I will send you an ebook, a free ebook download of it when it comes out in a couple of months. It's all about marketing strategies for real estate investors. If you have an interest in the coaching, put in your email, coaching. If there's anything else I can do for you, put that in there. JJ, thank you so much for the opportunity, for letting me be here and share some of my 40 years of business and 32 years of real estate sales and investing. It's a pleasure to share and pay it forward some of the things I've learned. I hope you guys have benefited from your time investment here, and I look forward to staying in touch with you. JJ.
Wow. That's all I got to say. Wow. Fantastic presentation. I love the books. I love the reading. I love the content you bring, the value every single time. The experience is like a fire hose. You know, you just got so much stuff going on. But for everybody who's watching this YouTube video, please click like on the video, like the video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Continue to follow us. We have phenomenal speakers coming up, just like Chasen. Maybe not as good, not as colorful, but phenomenal speakers coming up. For those of you guys that are on the call right now, hang on. We're going to go to the breakout room shortly, do some networking, meet some people lifetime, build our network, build our relationships, which is what the group is about, networking. And everybody else, we'll see you next week. Come back for more.